Midjourney is the best AI image generator.
By far.
Cut it out.
By far.
No.
By far. By far.
By far. But don't get me wrong, the AI race is ever changing. Who knows where Midjourney might rank 2, 3, 4 months from now? What other AI image generation software may take its place? But as of right now, Midjourney is top dog. Now you will have some tryhards that will say that Stable Diffusion is #1, and yes, technically they are correct. Stable Diffusion offers so much more than Midjourney does, but it requires more control and more knowledge. Midjourney is a beautiful, sweet middle ground for the average AI user, from enthusiasts to artists to businessmen and more. And Midjourney's only been out for 2 years now, running the game. And I'm here to take you from beginner to absolute expert in it. It's your man Chukwubuikem, your AI coach, ready to help you get used to and master the AI movement as we speak. We're going to cover a lot in this video, and everything that we cover will be on my website for you to review, download, and follow along with. And I'll put it in the Discord for you to reference back to as well. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, or reach out to me on my Discord, where I'll be happy to get to you as quickly and as often as possible. And if you end up liking the video, please make sure to like the video, because it does help this channel out a lot. And consider subscribing if you want to advance your knowledge and know-how in AI. Now, as you know, Midjourney is not free. It used to be, but not anymore. You do have to pay, and the plans are here. I do recommend starting with the basic plan and then working your way up as you find that you need more. I personally use the standard plan and nothing more. So to get Midjourney, all you have to do is come to midjourney.com. You're going to click sign in. If you have a Discord, you're just going to sign in with your Discord. If you don't have a Discord, you need to go make a Discord. And then you're going to come here and you're going to sign in with your Discord. Then once you've signed in and authorized your account, you're going to choose one of the payment plans. And then once you've made one of those payment plans, you're going to come back to Discord and create a new server. So here we're going to click create my own. You could just skip this question, no big deal. Midjourney server is what you could call it. Click create, boom, and then now remember you have to go back to that Midjourney Discord, and what you can do, you can go to like newbies 1, 2, 3 or something like that, and then you're going to click here in the top right corner and click members, show members list. You see this Midjourney bot right here. You're going to click on that, then you're going to click add app. Okay, you're going to add app, and then you're going to select the Discord server that you have, and right here is the Midjourney server that we just created, so we're going to click that. Click continue. Obviously you're gonna allow all of this. Click authorize. Yes, I am a human. Now you're gonna go to the Midjourney server that you created. You could have named it anything, remember that. And the first thing we're gonna do, you're gonna learn /imagine. Now you can type out imagine as you want, or you can click this /imagine, and then now you can create any picture that you want. Let's say a MacBook on top of an elephant. Now right here, you're looking at fast. Fast is the default option for when Midjourney is making your images. There's fast and relaxed. And when you look at the payment plan, you'll see that fast comes with every payment option, but relaxed doesn't. Relaxed doesn't come with the basic. Just know that fast means the generations are going to come out quicker, but you only have 3.3 hours per month worth of fast generations to use if you have the basic plan. If you have the standard plan, you have 15 hours worth of fast generation that you can use, and if you use all of those up, still be able to generate more images, but it will be with relaxed, and relaxed just means that it's going to take a little bit more time. Now in the settings, you can always adjust that, and we'll talk about that in a second. But here we have the MacBook on top of an elephant, so you see that Midjourney kind of got what we were looking for. This is pretty cool. Now the thing is, there's a lot to unpack even from just this alone. You see we got 4 images. And then we have some buttons at the bottom, U1, U2, U3, and U4. Then we have V1, V2, V3, V4, and we have this circle. So first thing I'm going to explain to you is this circle is the refresh button. If you click this, it will rerun the prompt, meaning you don't have to retype the prompt. It'll already be there, or you can adjust the prompt as well. So you could say a blue MacBook on top of an elephant, but instead of having to retype the whole thing, you can just click rerun. And right here, you'll see --V6. All that's there for is to represent the version of Midjourney that you're using. If you're using Midjourney 5.2, then each prompt would show --5.2. There's ways to change the Midjourney version that you're using, and you'll see that soon. So this is pretty cool. It's actually funny. This one is the top left one is kind of cinematic, but realistically, the bottom 2 is what we're looking for. That's a MacBook on top of an elephant. Great job. But now, what does U1, U2, what do these buttons mean? So U1 refers to the top left, U2 refers to the top right, U3 refers to the bottom left, U4 refers to the bottom right. And basically what you want to do, well, if you click this big image, you'll just get all 4 of these as together, but you want to choose one of them. So you're going to choose U1 through 4. Let's say that we choose U4. I like U4 a lot. Then it's going to upscale. That's what the U stands for. The U stands for upscale. So now we have a bigger, more clear version of the image that we wanted. And then you get a lot of buttons under. Here's what happens. We have upscale subtle, upscale creative, very subtle, very strong, very region, zoom out 2x, zoom out 1.5, and custom zoom. We're going to quickly go over these by just clicking on them. So upscale subtle, it basically means that it's going to make a better version of this picture, but it's also going to add a little bit more detail and also change a few things to make it better that it thinks you would like for it to be better. So you're going to notice that when we clicked upscale subtle, it's going to be a slightly different than the original picture. So as you see, it's very, very subtle. It's almost not even noticeable. That's the whole point of upscale subtle. It's supposed to make the picture better, but it's going to tweak a few things very, very like almost pixel sized in order to make it look a little better. And to the naked eye, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but it is a little bit better, and I'll show you side by side for you to see that. Then we have upscale creative, which means that it's going to take it up a notch and it's going to add some creative direction to it that it thinks you would want to see. So we're just going to click upscale creative and see what we get. So now you guys are looking at upscaled creative, and upscale subtle. And yeah, you see Midjourney has now made the original image look better and also a little different from what initially was made, but it's up to you to choose which one you like, and they're all pretty good. So that's the power of the upscale subtle and creative controls. Then you have very subtle and very strong. All this means is they're going to make variations of the image. Now, very subtle means that it's going to be very subtle. Sorry guys. But it's going to be very subtle, meaning that the changes are going to be very slight, but there's going to be some changes, and you're going to notice these ones unlike the other ones. And then very strong is going to be much more noticeable whilst trying to still keep the same concept at play. So we're going to click very subtle. We're going to leave the prompt as is. You can always change the prompt, very similar to what we did with the refresh, but we're going to leave the prompt the same so that you can see. And then we're going to do the same thing with very strong. And now, as you can already see, it's going to come up with 4 images. Unlike upscale subtle and upscale creative, it was just one image because you were literally just saying, I like what we have. There's no need to change much. But with this one, we're saying, you know, I like most of what you have. I would like to see what else you can come up with to Midjourney. So now this one, it says, you see variations subtle. While variation strong is loading, let's check variation subtle out. So you see, it kind of tilted the MacBook a little bit. You know, the elephant is a little different. They look kind of like siblings. Interesting that this elephant, I believe, like has like a long chin or tongue or something. I can't say that I know exactly what an elephant looks like, or I guess we could Google it. Okay, yep, that is what an elephant looks like. Okay, great. So yeah, you know, they look like siblings. They're all a little bit different. So this is variations subtle, right? But now we have variations strong, where you see it completely changed the directions of everything. The MacBook is in different places. The elephant is in different places, different expressions, different sizes. I mean, we got more of the body in the first picture. We got the elephant doing a completely different maneuver in the fourth picture. I mean, so now you see what happens when you do subtle versus strong. Then we also have very region, which is in painting. And if you don't know what in painting is basically where you take a portion of the painting and draw something over it, or redraw what's in that portion of the painting. So it's, you know, better show you than talk. We're going to take this lasso tool right here, and we're just going to go over it like this. Bless me. So now, boom, we have the red MacBook on top. So now it's not perfect because you can see, like, for whatever reason, these MacBooks have like cameras or something, and this one doesn't even have the logo. So this would be the best option, the bottom left one. But also, I just want to let you guys know, you don't want to use very region and then just put like what you want the change to be. So just to give you an example, for this very region, I put red. That was all that I put, and I didn't get anything. Then I put red MacBook, and that was all that I put, and I didn't get anything. So remember, you really want it to be the whole prompt and then just the change that you're looking for. So we'll try that one more time to drive it home. Vary region. Let's refresh that. You can just click that refresh button in the top right. We can use this rectangle here, and then you can make this thing right here. And then remember, we're going to want to type what we want along with the prompt that we had. So a white plane flying over a red MacBook on top of an elephant. So that's what we want. Let's see what we get. So boom, right here we got the plane that we were looking for in the top left right here. It seems that it didn't do the rest here. I do believe it was because we did not choose a large enough part of the picture. So we're going to try this one more time with a larger part and see what we get. Just refresh. Boom. So now we choose a larger part. Well, boom, there you have it. Although this isn't exactly what we were looking for because it mixed the white with the red MacBook. So it wasn't perfect, but you now see what we're talking about. We do have a plane flying over, and you can really get more in depth with this, but this is good enough. We move on. And just in case you guys haven't noticed, as you can see, each one of these have U1, U2, U3, U4, all that, and the refresh sign. But one thing we never went over was the V1, V2, V3, V4. Just know that those are the variation buttons that we kind of just went through. So instead of having to upscale one, then choose the variations, you could always just skip straight to the variations. And let's say we want to variate V3, and then we could put a white plane flying over a red MacBook on top of an elephant in the desert. So that now we're taking V3 and we're just going to variate it straight from the jump. So now we have a MacBook, elephant in the desert, plane flying over it. I mean, what more can you ask for? Now we're going to take a quick pause in image generation to look over the settings. Now, if you want to get into the settings of Midjourney, you have to type in /settings, click enter, and now you're going to see all the settings that we have. By default, Midjourney is in V6 Alpha, okay? There's also Niji model, which we will go over. There's 5.2, 5.1, 5. There's all types of models. I recommend you staying in V6 and moving towards the future. Midjourney themselves have even said that they're going to keep updating it and adding everything that we're looking for into V6 and more. So no real point in going backwards. But I know that some people who have been using this very long have gotten used to certain prompting methodologies that they mastered in earlier versions. So totally understandable if they're more comfortable with those ones, but you as a beginner might as well just start with V6 and move forward. So now we're going to go over all of these, but I do recommend that you don't mess with these settings too much, as there are better ways to handle this that you'll learn in the more advanced section. Right now we're in the beginner section, so I do want to give you an overview. We have raw mode, which basically just means that Midjourney is going to listen more to your prompt instead of interpreting it to be what they think you would want. And here are some examples of that with raw mode on versus raw mode off. Now I want you to notice this dash style raw right here. This is called a parameter, and this is what gives us the ability to modify each prompt to our liking. And as we move through this tutorial, you're going to be introduced to a lot of parameters, all worth knowing. But the dash style raw one is what you'll start seeing once you turn on raw mode in your settings. All it does is make a picture more basic or more literal to the prompt that you gave it. So you see how in the raw parameter, the boy is just skateboarding on a flat stream. That's pretty much what I was looking for. But in the default version of Midjourney, which is made to sensationalize and make images that are typically more beautiful and typically what the average person would want to see and be impressed by, they put this little boy doing a 50-50 grind at a skate park, which is pretty exciting, but that wasn't really what I was looking for here. So I had to put dash style raw to tone it down a little bit, and then I got what I needed. Then we have Stylize low, Stylize medium, and Stylize high. By default, Midjourney is in Stylize medium. So when you get those 4 images, you're getting more sensationalized version of what your prompt is by default. If you want to choose Stylize high as your default, that means that you're going to get even more sensationalization, maybe, by default with your image generations. Stylize low means that you're going to get a lower version of those image generations. And then you also have Stylize very high, which you can imagine just kind of give you wonkiness. And here are examples of all of those. Now here you have public mode, meaning that all images that you make will be sent to Midjourney for anybody or everybody to view if they were to check out your gallery. Now, if you don't want this mode and you want it to be more stealthy and more private, well, that's going to be a little bit of a pretty penny. You would have to get the more premium plan of $60 a month to be able to use private/stealth mode, I think is what it's called. I don't think my generations are worth $60 a month for me to pay for it, but if you guys feel like you need it, then by all means. But if you click it, what you're going to have is your current membership does not include private mode, so you would have to upgrade your plan. Now, you also have remix mode, which was really a 5.2 feature. It was what allowed us to be able to variate amongst the images that we get, which is now what we do basically by default, so you really need not worry about that. You also have high variation mode, which is by default what the V1, V2, V3, and V4 buttons are. In fact, if you scroll back up to when we did the V3 option right here and we chose it, you'll see that the remix was by default strong. If we were to change it to low variation mode, you would see that the remix would be by default subtle. So we could try that really quickly so that you see what I'm talking about. So right now it's in low variation mode. So now we got some, wow, there's actually some really cool images. So now if we were to choose V3 and say a human skydiving towards the ocean, let's just variate it. And by the way, if you ever want variations, you don't actually have to change your prompt. You can just leave it as is and it will variate automatically based on what it thinks that you want. Awesome. So you see, now we're moving towards the ocean. Wow, it's actually pretty cool. Anyway, let's not get distracted, but skydiving towards the ocean, and now you see that the remix was by default subtle. Okay, so now going back to the settings, you have sticky style. That's something that we would use in the expert category, so we're going to leave this alone for a little bit. Then you have turbo, fast, and relax mode. Remember earlier I was telling you about how quickly your generations will come about? So by default it will be fast mode, but let's say you don't need it all that fast. You could put it in relaxed mode, or if you want it super fast, you could put it in turbo mode. But just know turbo mode uses twice as many credits, so you get it faster but you spend twice as much. And then you have reset settings, which doesn't set your settings back to default, which is what you would think at first. It actually does something that again is more of an expert situation, but just to give you a sneak peek, you can have default suffixes that you can attach to every prompt so that you don't have to keep rewriting it in, and basically reset settings would put them all back to normal. That's what that would do, but we'll go over that later. Now, a fun thing to know is that whether you have it on public or private, Midjourney will automatically upload these to your profile on the internet. So you just got to go to midjourney.com and then you would click My Images, and boom, you would see all the images that you've been creating. You see the MacBooks and all the versions of it, which is really cool. You can click through them, see what's going on. This is really cool. I really like this image. And you just keep going on and on. So that's a really good thing for you to know as a beginner. You can even download them. So it's pretty cool because what you can do is that you can go here and click copy, and you can copy the prompt, the job ID, the seed, the image, or the image URL. All of these are very useful, and we can actually come back to this later on in the video so that you can understand the weight of these. This is more in that advanced section that you guys should definitely stick around for. And while you're signed in, you can also explore Midjourney and see what's out here for you to enjoy and appreciate. Like, look at this cute little thing right here. You can always copy this prompt, and again right here you can copy the prompt, the job ID. You can't get the seed. The seed is personal to you, and I'll explain all that later, but you'll have the prompt, the job ID, things like that. You can also search for prompts as well right here in the top right corner. So I could type in red car, and then boom, we're getting red cars, man. It's really nice. Another thing I like is that when you're searching, it automatically updates to what every letter that you type in. So right now I have red cars, but if I type with, blue, it automatically updates, which is really cool. If you like an image, which this is absolutely stunning what this is, you can click like image, and then you would X out here, and then you go to likes, and then you would have all the images that you liked. You see the two images that we liked here. You see this one image that I like, Bruce Lee playing the guitar, absolutely rocking, man. And you can also rate images as well. This is what helps Midjourney develop its skills so that it can get us more of what we want. This doesn't have to be done, but it does help support Midjourney in the process. So definitely recommend you guys to try that every now and again. There's also dark mode and light mode so that you don't have to hurt your eyes when you're on Midjourney, which is really cool. But yes, going back to the Discord, let's make another image. A Pixar style movie poster about a boy struggling with math. I put mat, so it kind of, you see, it had us on the mat. So definitely want to make sure that you're spelling your words correctly. It might be a beginner tip, but a very important thing that the experts also have to follow, because I meant math and now the boy is just rolling on the floor. You see, much better now. You see the boy is struggling with math. You see it depicting the math right behind us, which is actually a very big game changer in terms of story direction. You know, this kid might be Einstein. In fact, it seems like it, I don't know, but the kid is doing quadratic equations, my friend. So that's really awesome. But let's say we don't want all of these sticky notes, right? So with that no parameter, we're going to remix this and put -- no sticky notes. So we got rid of the sticky notes for most of these, but you still see sticky notes in the background for this. So what if we said no table instead? Now, it didn't keep some of the things that made that first picture so special, which was like that chalkboard. So remember, you want to be more descriptive. So you definitely want to make really good prompts, because part of the problem here, and this is also what will be covered more in that advanced and expert territory, is that the prompt that I'm currently using isn't very descriptive. A Pixar style movie poster about a boy struggling with math. That's cool, but it's not very descriptive. What you would really want is something more like this. A Pixar style movie poster of a boy struggling with math in a classroom with complex math equations on the chalkboard in the background -- no table. Now that's a prompt. So now you see that this is more of what we were looking for, and he is not at a table. Yes, there are desks, but no table, which is more of what we were looking for, which is great. Another beautiful option that you have, which we could have covered earlier on, you see if we upscale number 3 right here and we come down, you'll see zoom out 2x, zoom out 1.5, and custom zoom. That's pretty much what you would expect it to be. It's going to create what a more further back view of this image would look like. So we're going to zoom out 2x, we're going to zoom out 1.5x, and we're going to custom zoom and show you what it will all look like. Now you see, the zoom must be between 1 and 2. So you cannot do zoom 3, you can't do zoom 4. So we need to choose something like zoom 1.9 or zoom 1.5 or zoom 1.4, which typically is not as necessary. But if you gotta get super specific, you can do that. So we'll do zoom 1.1. So this one you could tell is a zoom 2x because we're way far out in these images. This one is the zoom 1.5. This is just kind of far out. And we have the zoom 1.1, which is barely noticeable, but it's a little further out. Now, another thing you can do, you can also pan left, right, up, and down. So here are the left, right, up, and down versions of this same picture right here. So now, great, you see we made it pan a little to the left. It kind of increased our picture by about 50%. So here you see some like a kind of like a bookshelf and stuff. Now it's a little warped because it's trying to emulate the rest of the room, but now the room kind of just looks like a big chalkboard room or something. It looks better to the right though. To the right it makes more sense. It looks like it's just, you know, a big chalkboard and stuff like that. Even still, it's a little tricky with the right as well. Then we also have up. Up is not bad either. And then we have down, which shows more of the table. It is actually a more cinematic look here. I really like the down one. And as you can see, it also changes the aspect ratio of each one, which again we can go over a little bit more a little bit later. But now you can see that the aspect ratio is not 1:1 by default like the square. Now we have a 3:2 and a 2:3 once we pan. And you can keep panning and zooming out. You can get like infinite versions of this. You can also rate the picture. So once you rate the picture, it says you have successfully rated this job with hard eyes, which literally is just saying to Midjourney that you really like what it created, and so that can help. And then you can also click web, and then it will take you to your gallery pretty much, where this would be in your midjourney.com. Now, aspect ratio is nothing more than the ratios of the height and width of the rectangle or square that you're making. So as you can see here, it goes width by height, so W by H. And so this aspect ratio is 3:2. So you see that this is longer than this side. I hope you're able to see that. Maybe this one is 1:1. So you see that they're all just squares. Here is 1:2. So you see that this is 1 and then this is 2. So this is 2 times as long as this. I hope that makes sense. So now we're making a picture of a hawk carrying a snake through the sky with an aspect ratio of 4:7. So the width is going to be 4, the length is going to be 7. Let's see what we get. So you see each image is 4 and then this is 7, right? If you wanted something more horizontal, you could use this same prompt and then switch the numbers. So 7 by 4. And boom, now you have 7 by 4. Now, of course, there are more popular sizes, 3 by 4, 4 by 3. You know, some people use this for art, prints, and things of that nature. Choose whatever works for you. It's completely in your control, but that's aspect ratio. Now, here are a couple more beginner tips that are really great to know. Midjourney will take anything as a prompt. So I'm just gonna do that. You can press enter and just see what Midjourney comes up with. One of the cooler features of Midjourney is that it is just here to interpret the best that it can, so it takes up any challenge, which I really do like. So isn't that cool? That's what it interpreted from what I put in, but you can also try single word prompts and see what you get as well. So it doesn't always have to be random. Single word prompts will also get you some interesting stuff like shoebox. So you see, once you put in shoebox, you got 4 different variations of that. It kind of just interpreted it how it thought it might want it. And this one is more like a cubby. This one is like a big shoebox full of many shoes. The 2 on the right seem more accurate to what, you know, we as humans would come up with on first glance. Now, in your settings, you also have the Niji model. Now, that is simply just the anime version of whatever you prompt. If you go for Niji model V6, right? It means that everything that we'll do moving forward will have an anime spin on it, which is pretty cool. So now, if we type shoebox, it is going to have an anime spin on it. And you can see it's Niji 6. We can even use some of our past prompts so that you can see the Niji version of even just the most basic prompts that we've used. So isn't this exciting? You know, everything had a slightly bit of a more anime taste and texture to it. Interesting that when you type in shoebox, this is how it interprets shoebox from an anime perspective. Don't know what that says about Midjourney or what that might say about anime in and of itself. Those who know will know. And you can also use emojis in Midjourney, which makes this even more fun. So if we click /imagine, on Mac you do Control Command Spacebar to add an emoji. And let's just use this mind blown emoji, right? We'll just put that thing in there. Yeah, just putting in an emoji or even a set of emojis will give you some real results. Like you see, we're going to put these 3 in. You see, so it understands the love emojis. Unfortunately though, using the emojis in a prompt doesn't prove to be super effective. You would still need to make your prompt very descriptive. Like for example, you see this dark night with 2 people and the person and the laughing emoji doesn't turn this into a Joker scene. And you see a nice photo of a girl with the laughing emoji doesn't make her even smile. Doesn't even have that effect, whether you put the emoji in the front or the back of the sentence. It's still though, it's cool to know that Midjourney can at least perceive emojis in a way that when by themselves does make a lot of sense. Another cool thing Midjourney can do is that it can add text to your picture. So if you type /imagine, and you say a billboard with the word subscribe in big, bold, red letters. Now, whatever you want the text to be, it must be between 2 quotation marks. And boom, there you have it. Subscribe. The first one got it right. Unfortunately, the 3rd, 4th, and 2nd one did not get it right, but one of them did get it right. And Midjourney is working on that because you need the words to, you know, work. And don't even try making sentences on these pictures. The feature is still a little clunky, but one word in an image will usually work. But hey, we just put subscribe on a billboard, and I hope you subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. And just so that you see, if you don't put those quotation marks around the wording that you want to use, you'll just get a whole bunch of kind of like gibberish based on the word, which is not what you want. You want the exact word. So make sure you're using quotation marks. Now, the most important lesson that you need to know, and I need you to really engrave this into your heart and your mind so that you can really understand Midjourney. Trial and error. Midjourney is new. It's only 2 years old and it's constantly updating. So you're going to need to be patient. You're going to need to be willing to experiment and see what you can get from all of the things that you just learned in this video. In fact, enjoy the journey instead of rushing to the result. You'll learn more that way. And that, my friends, covers the beginner section. Let's move on to advanced. So let's talk about the repeat parameter. So let's say we wanted to make an image of a big red dog inside a house. We could just call him Clifford, right? But let's say you want to run this prompt 3 or 4 more times. You would put -- repeat and then let's say 4. If you have a basic subscription, 4 is the max you can do. If you have a standard, it'd be 10, and I believe Pro would be 40 or something like that, but let's say 4 for now. Are you sure you want to imagine 4 prompts of a big red dog, right? You say yes. And so it's already running concurrently, which is really good for those who know that they'll be trying out many different versions of an image of the same idea. So then you would just wait for all of them to go through. So you see, it gave us 4 sets of images with very different art styles with all of them, which is really good. And so if you didn't know what you were looking for, you would choose one of these and then ask to Midjourney to make you many variations of the one that you're looking for. So that's kind of the strength of having repeat, instead of having to run the prompt, then looking, then running the prompt again, then looking. You can just tell it go, you can go get a sandwich, come back, it'll be done. So that's pretty cool. So now we have the chaos parameter, which just increases how crazy the results of your prompt will be. Here we're going to do a fish in water, but let's try it with different chaoses. All beautiful versions. Now we're going to put dash dash. Now you can either type in chaos, then the number, or you could just type in dash dash C, and let's go with 25. So you see now, it's a lot more abstract in general. Let's take it up a notch. Dash dash 50. Now understand that the chaos parameter can only go from 0 to 100. And wow, look at that. And look, at this point, we're not even getting fish. Like, look at this. This is a frog. And this is flowers. And if we redo this, put dash dash 100, see what we get. And that is a very funny thing to look at. So this fish is out of water. So boom, there you have it. Now we have the Stylize parameter, which is a parameter that many Midjourney artists use pretty consistently, as it controls how beautiful the prompt will end up being. The Stylize parameter can range anywhere from 0 to 1000, but by default, every prompt will be at 100. To give you a good understanding of this, remember how in the settings there were different Stylize settings? Stylize low, Stylize medium, Stylize high, and Stylize very high. By default, everyone is at Stylize medium. That's basically Stylize at 100, but if you did Stylize high or very high or low, well, you would see what you would get. In fact, we'll actually go to Midjourney here, so I don't have to come up with a bunch of examples for this. See the prompt, a child's drawing of a cat. Stylize 100, this is the default of what most people would get. That is equal to Stylize medium, which you'll see right here, which is what everyone is usually starting off with. But if you did Stylize low, which is 50, you would get something like this. If you did Stylize 0, you get something like this. So again, the lower it is, the uglier it will be. But the higher you make it, obviously, all of a sudden, this kid becomes Picasso. I mean, Stylize 250, now we have this. Stylize 500, you have this. And Stylize 750, I mean, geez, that if your kid is making that, get him into art school, because this is incredible. So definitely remember to utilize that in your prompts, because you can get some very different images using that. I'll try that right now. Dash dash S, which is the short version for Stylize, and we can do 50, and we can remix this 600, 1000. So here we have the same Spider-Man images at a 50 stylization, so it actually becomes more 90s feeling, which is really cool. Then you have at Stylize 600, and it starts to get a little bit more futuristic looking. And then if we did Stylize 1000, now this kind of looks like movie art. So please remember that these parameters can drastically change what you're getting out of your prompts. So now we also have the weird parameter, which is just dash dash W, and you can set this anywhere between 0 and 3000. The higher the number, the more weird the picture will be. Now understand that by default, the weirdness is at 0, okay? So now let's just try to kick it up a notch. Let's put the weirdness to 100, okay? A woman walking to her job in the city, dash dash W, 100. So as you can see, this is the default, a woman walking to her job in a busy city. So these are pretty good images. I mean, if you want to control it more, you can add some more styles to it, right? But now if we added 100 to it, a woman walking to her job in a busy city, now look at it. It actually, it's funny, this reminds me of the Mr. Krabs meme, the top right. But now you start to get more interpretations of this image. Now if we remix it to 1000, now it gets to be even more weird. Now it's taking the form of like paintings. Now let's put it on the max, with it being at 3000. So this wasn't super weird, but we also really didn't get what we were looking for, because now we just got a lot of different kind of things. But now that you've learned all these different parameters, it's good for you to understand that you can combine these parameters to get a much better image. So let's say we wanted this same prompt, a woman walking to her job in a busy city in the comic book style, dash dash stylize of 500. So we do want it to look quite good. Dash dash chaos of, let's say, 33. And a dash dash weird of 400. Right? So now we have stylize, chaos, and weird. Let's see what we get. Now I actually want to raise the stylize option a little bit more because I do want everything to look pretty good. Just different. Really good, but different. So it's definitely weird and abstract, but it does look kind of good. It does look kind of good. We can retry this a couple more times, see what we get. Wow, and would you look at that? These look nice. I really like this bottom left one right here. This is very nice. I like this top right one here. It looks very... Oh, you see this? It made a panel. That's pretty good in the top left. So that's the power of combining these parameters to make what you really want, or at least give you more of a different direction than what you would think. But let's say there were certain images that you wanted to be able to reference or use in order to tell Midjourney what you really want. Well, Midjourney can do that too. All you have to do is upload the image that you want to use. Here we have a beautiful image of a man sitting. You would just upload it. All you got to do is press that plus button, and then you press enter and you upload it. And then you would write your prompt and you would say a woman sitting near a lake, and then you would put dash dash sref so as to reference that image. You would take this, copy link to the image, then you would press enter. Remember to put a space bar here. You don't want the sref and then no, you want that space there. You would press enter. So now you also see that the link got shortened as well. And as you can see, it looks just like the man that was sitting here. It even got the reflections right. You see how the mountains reflect off of the water. With some of them it looks like an exact mirror, so it's a little bit too much, but like right here it's almost perfect. These two bottoms are really good. In contrast, if I had ran that by itself, yeah, you see, by nature, yes, a woman sitting by a lake, okay, there you have it. But no, like this is exactly like the image that we referenced. And let's say you had an image but you couldn't find the words to describe the image. Well, that's why they have the describe function for Midjourney to use, so that you can get some aid in coming up with the prompt. So here we have a pretty awesome picture of Superman. So what I did was that I took this, downloaded it, came over to Midjourney. We're going to put describe, and you can put an image or a link here. You typically want to use the image. Links can be tricky for Discord to get into all the time. So image is better because it will come straight from your computer. And then we just put this right here, and then you press enter. So now Midjourney has given us the prompts that it thinks would give us the image that we're looking for, pretty much verbatim. It even uses certain famous people like Greg Patowski. And if you click on these, you can actually go see where it's getting its data from. So it's kind of like ChatGPT-esque in the sense of its ability to web scrape to see where the ideas are coming from. Now you can click any one of these numbers in order to generate the prompt that it's coming up with. I'm gonna click imagine all, and so far it's not bad. This is close. This is even closer. This is really good, and this is good as well. Another different take on it. It definitely took Henry Cavill's type of Superman, but you see again, now that we remixed it, we got 4 other versions. So again, if we click imagine all, you see we get many versions of the same thing, which is really helpful for people when you find an image that you really like and you're like, wow, I really want to make that type of image. Well, you can pretty much just take it and then use it. The beautiful thing is that this isn't like stealing, it's more like inspiration through Midjourney, so it's awesome. You also have dash dash tile, which basically takes your prompt and makes a tile out of it. So here you see a water bottle, right? That's perfectly fine, but once you add dash dash tile, it just adds patterns to whatever you're looking for. So I put a water bottle dash dash tile, and now all of a sudden every water bottle has patterns, and then you can kind of control the patterns by saying a water bottle in pastel colors dash dash tile. So now we have a water bottle with patterns in a pastel color format, which would be really good for, let's say, mock-ups when you're trying to sell certain things. It's really good. And then you also have video that pretty much records the creation of the image. So here we have an African American lawyer dash dash video. So it's going to now record the creation of the image, and then once the image is done, you have to react to it and then look for the envelope, which is also going to be useful later on in this video, so as to send it to yourself. And then right here, the Midjourney bot will send you the video of the image. So you would just click this link right here, and you would get a video of the image being created, which I think is really, really dope. Stuff like this could be used for presentations or time lapses. Hard to know. It's just art, man. Like, the more creative you are, the better it gets. So let's start with seeds. Now, what is a seed? And no, we're not talking about nuts and grains and everything like that. We are talking about the instance in which an image is made. This is a little trickier to understand, but Midjourney helps us understand this. If you go to their website, you see a seed is a whole number between 0 and 4,294,967,295. That's the highest a seed can be. But it's not about high or low when it comes to seeds. It's more about what each number represents. See, each number is like an instance. It's like a location, a radio station, a radio wave, a signal where the image got created. And what you're doing when you use one of these seeds is that you're purposefully tapping back into that signal to get a similar result. And Midjourney does a really great job of explaining this. If you ran this Celadon owl picture with random seeds 3 times, you would get 3 different, like three pretty different images realistically every time. But then when you use the same seed, you will get much more consistent images. There's still going to be a little bit of a difference. Like, as you can see here, this bottom left changed and the bottom right changed, and there's also other subtle changes, but that's what happens when you use seed numbers. And really high level Midjourney users know how to manipulate seeds. Let's say you had an image that you made that you really liked, and you want all images after that to have a similar effect, style, or final result as the image that you just made. So let's come up with something really quickly. A group of basketball players at a park in Harlem, 90s cartoon. So we just got a pretty good image of what this, prompt would look like. Basketball players in Harlem. Now let's say we really liked that image and we wanted to continue making stuff like this, but specifically from that same instance. What you would do is that you would add a reaction, use this same envelope that we used a little bit earlier on in the video. Midjourney will then send us the information, and boom, you get the seed. This seed was made on 2,536,589,192. So that's the seed that we have. What you would do is that you would copy this. If we were to remix this, we might get a completely different. So you see, now we got some that were a lot different. You get different angles and different styles, just slightly different. But now if we had remixed it with the same seed, dash seed, and then we pasted it in, you're going to see that even though we remixed this image, which was not the original image that we had, you see, this was the original image that we took the seed from. But now we went and made another image just using the same prompt, but instead we took this image, the same idea, right? We just remixed it, but it's really, it's really just a prompt. But you take the prompt, and then you put the same seed, and boom, then we have the picture again. Now this picture is not exactly the same as the first picture that we had. Remember, it's not exactly the same. I'll let you guys spot some of the differences, but there you have it. You can also blend images, which is basically image prompting using just images to get what you're looking for. So what we can do is type in blend/blend, right? And you can do up to 5 images. So we can do 5 images, and then there's like a dimensions thing that you can specify where, again, you can kind of talk about, the aspect ratio of it. So let's say we wanted, let's try with the man sitting at the dock and this picture of Spider-Man and see what we get. It put it put like maybe Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, or it's actually pretty cool. It's pretty warped. So now you see we blended the pictures, and of course you can blend many more pictures. You can do up to 6 even. So let's try this one more time, and let's add one more into it. Sweet, that's actually pretty cool. Okay, Superman kind of added like a cape here. Oh, nice. And it add like this. Oh, cool. Put the spider in the Superman symbol. That's cool. And then it puts the sun It makes it this. Oh, this is nice. This has the moon in it. That's pretty cool. So yeah, you know, blending images can get you a whole nother set of results. Okay, so now we've been blending images and mixing and matching, which is great, but we need more control over it, which is why we have image weight and style weight. These two parameters will give us the ability to control how much these images affect the prompt. So let's type in another image, right? Let's type in imagine, and then we're going to do a duck walking on water, manga art style. Then we can actually just drag this Superman image right in there, and then we will put dash dash IW, that stands for image weight. And remember, this is weighted between 0 and 3. So what we can do, well, 0 and 3 on V6, version 6. So what we can do, let's say we only wanted to have a bit of an influence. And so we're going to put image weight 0.5, right? Let's put that in. So you can see how like that sun is starting to show itself in that background and everything. But now, what if we added even more? What if we added 2? And let's do another one at 3 and see what we get. So that the image is more important to the prompt than the prompt itself. So you can see when the duck is walking on water and is 0.5, it still stays as a duck. But then when you put the weight at 0.2, well, you see that this one is actually kind of creepy, but you see that the duck itself starts to morph into Superman and water is under its feet. And then when you have the image pretty much take over, there's still some water in here, and I don't know if I see any resemblance of any duck in here, but yeah, that's image weighting. Now, again, let's say there was a style that we wanted to use. A computer walking up a hill. And let's say we wanted to use this Spider-Man image. We could put dash dash sref. Now definitely make sure that you copy the link and then you paste it in. You can also drag it, but make sure that you don't drag it in between what you're trying to do, because if you were to drag it like this, it will come in between your prompt and you may not realize that. So, you know, I personally like to copy the link and then strategically place it there, and then you would put SW. And remember, this can be between 0 and 1000. So let's do a weight of 50. So you see, it took some of that impressionist style that we had from Spider-Man earlier on in the tutorial and added it to this. But now let's say that we did this prompt again with a style weight of 500 instead, and see how much of a change it'll make. And now it looks a lot more like the Spider-Man comic. You can see the colors splashing. We can even do one more at 1000. And here's what the prompt would have looked like without any style reference being added. So now at 1000, again, it really looks like it fits exactly into the Spider-Man comic that we were looking at. Whereas again, if you look at what it naturally came up with, completely different. So adding these will help. But now the best feature here in this whole tutorial is character referencing, which is now Midjourney's official way to be able to make consistent characters using the software. First thing we're going to do, we're going to upload some images of yours truly, Chukubuika. Alright, so boom, now we went and uploaded some images of your boy. Just click enter on that. Now those images are being uploaded to Midjourney. Now that we have these images, what we're going to do, we're going to click /imagine, and let's say a king in a castle. And then we're going to do dash dash cref, and then we're going to drag each link in there. And then you just want to have a space bar in between each one of them. Now we're doing 5 images because it gives Midjourney a lot more info on what the face will look like, which will give us better results. So now we're just going to input that. The Midjourney bot is thinking. And think hard. I want you to make me look good, Midjourney. Yo, what? Yo, what, bro? Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay. All right. Okay. First off, Midjourney violated me. That's number 1. Number 2, still though, you can start to understand. Wow, like the it's getting like, you know, the character accurately. Yo, drop a like, man. Drop a like to see what I go through with y'all. You know, one thing I'm noticing from all this, no matter what you look like, if you're doing something, you're going to look better. Because right here, this boxing, I look like I'm ready to get it on. You know what I'm saying? This is not bad. I actually learned a good lesson from this. Work on what you got to work on, and you will look good. Listen, if you over here sitting down doing nothing, like, it looks stupid. But look, my boy is skateboarding. Like, I look like I'm about to get into it. Like, you know? How about we use something or someone that's a little better looking? So now we got some pictures of the beautiful, gorgeous Kelly Rowland. And let's see if we can make some character designs out of this. A queen in a castle. Let's see what it gives us. -- C-ref. Yes, sir. We got Kelly Rowland looking like Kelly Rowland pretty much. I mean, yes, it's not perfect. This is a little bit different across. Here's what I would say. You definitely want images of yourself looking the same in every photo, similar to what I had, if you want some more consistencies. But this is also still not that bad. But if you put CW, which is character weight, you can range it from 0 to 100. 100 being that it adds everything. And by default, we're always on 100. If we put it to 0, it'll only match the face. So let's try this one more time. And then if we want to do this again, but put the character weight at 0, so CW 0, then we would get only the same face but much different clothing and body types. So it's more like a face swap. Nice. So this is it at a level 0. Now what if we put it at a level 50? So that we meet it just right in the middle. Yup, yes ma'am. So it's slightly different now, but overall keeping the same aesthetic. And that's consistent characters. Now what if you had some parameters that you know that you commonly use? Do you really want to have to type them in all the time? Or do you want to be able to just pack them all up into, let's say, one parameter and use it in every prompt? Well, there's a way to do that. You would go to prefer, option set, and then you would name it. Let's call it pretty. Then you would click plus one more. You would click value, and that's where you would put in all the parameters that you would think that you would need to use again and again and again. So let's put -- stylize of 800. Let's put -- chaos or -- C at 60. Weird at 10. And we'll do -- no ugly, comma, distorted. So now we get all of that in the word pretty. So we're going to set that option. Boom, now it's been set. So let's say we wanted to put a woman thinking on a sidewalk bench, Victorian art style. So this is what we would naturally get. But now if we were to put in that -- pretty, you would see it automatically showed us that this is what the pretty meant. Stylize 800, C16, W10, no ugly, stuff like that. So now you can see it definitely got a little bit more weird, a little bit more creative in how it viewed this image. You see with the Victorian art style, it was much more consistent. It just felt like the 1800s, stuff like that. But here, it started to, this one right actually looks like a modern photograph. So that's how you would start setting your parameters in a more compact way so that you don't have to retype them every time. And there's another way to do this where every prompt that you prompt would naturally come with the parameters that you're looking for. You wouldn't even have to put it in at all. And that would be using the /prefer suffix command. So we would put /prefer, type in suffix, there you have it. New value, -- stylize 10. And -- AR 9:16 and -- video. So now that's the preferred suffix. No matter what we put in, that suffix will be in every prompt moving forward. So /imagine African American woman getting married. You see, now that's the automatic suffix for everything moving forward. So remember, don't confuse the two. You could always add your own package of suffixes using the prefer option set mode so that you can put that in when you need it. But if you know every single prompt is going to be the same, you might as well just use the /prefer suffix, and they will automatically get added to every prompt. Oh, look at these beautiful little girls getting married. And then once you have this suffix, you can literally always check it by looking at settings. Well, you'll know every time you make a command, but I'm just saying in the settings, you'll see the current suffix right here. And no, you can't edit it from here. You would have to go back into that /prefer suffix to just make it a new value. So let's make it --C 100, right? You could just do it like that. Now that's the new suffix, and you can go back into settings and you'll see that that is now the new suffix. But if you want to clear the suffix, all you would have to do is click reset settings, and now the suffix is gone. You'll still keep your /prefer option set though. But if you ever want to see all the options that you have, you would just click /prefer option list. You would just click that, and then you'll see that it has pretty, and that's defined as stylized. So if we added another one using prefer option set, now we have two options, and you would see it from /prefer option list. Click enter, and now you see we have pretty and crazy. So that's awesome. And if you click reset settings, it wouldn't reset either of these. You would just have to manually delete them. In order to do that, you would /prefer option set. It will give you the ones that you have listed out. If you want to delete one, just click on the one you want to delete, then click enter, and it will say custom option crazy removed. And so now if we do /prefer option list, you'll see that we only have pretty left, and that's how you would handle those. So here we have an unnecessarily long prompt, right? Click imagine. Oh, and by the way, you can always just click / and then enter, and you'll automatically get imagine every time. So now we have an unnecessarily long prompt. If we use that, we'll get some images of a dog running around, which is beautiful. But this is a very long prompt, and Midjourney doesn't always need all of this to get something done. So you would click /shorten, and then you would put in your prompt, and Midjourney will let you know what is too much about this prompt. So here it says, on the sun-kissed shores where the ocean's melody meets the earth's embrace, a spirited canine. You see how it crossed out embrace and spirited, because it really didn't need that. It also crossed out pure delight, and it crossed out simple pleasures. So it's telling us that we can now choose any one of these prompts to get pretty much the same type of image. And let's see how true it is. So yeah, it looks like they were right. This looks just about the same as this picture. Now, of course, take this with a grain of salt. Midjourney isn't always right about what it's saying that you should do to get what you want out of Midjourney. So do keep that in mind. Even this one, Canine Frolics Canvas Adventure, we could try that as well, but it may not give us exactly what we want since there's no mention of a beach. But let's see. You see, as we can see, remember in the original prompt, we wanted it to be on the beach near the ocean. And so, you know, using what Midjourney gave us, the fifth option isn't going to work because, listen, there's no beach. It's not what we were looking for. So definitely keep that in mind. But if you're ever seeing that your prompts are a little too long or they're not working the way that you would like, Midjourney can also help you analyze it as well. And now the last part of this tutorial, style tuning. Now, if you use Stable Diffusion, you may already be familiar with this kind of concept. It's basically when you use images to train the AI to make the specific type of image that you want. In Stable Diffusion, we call these models and LoRa's, but here in Midjourney, we call it style tuning. And it's a very interesting way of doing it. It's currently not in the V6 version. You would have to use 5.2 in order to do that, but that's all well and good because it's still very simple. What you would do is that you would type in /tune, then you would put in whatever the prompt you want it to be. So let's say we wanted a 1980s car racing down New York City, contemporary art. So now we put /tune, this is the prompt, press enter. It's going to say fail to process your command for some reason. It keeps doing that for some reason. But once you see that, you could choose. It's going to be by default Midjourney V5. I'm sure that they will add it to V6 soon enough. But as of right now, of this recording, it's V5. But even when they do update this, I'm sure they won't change much. It'll be more or less the same thing. Then there will be 32 style directions. You really don't need 32. 16 is usually enough. I like to use 16. Then we would just put default mode, leave it as default. From my experiments, raw doesn't make a huge difference. So default is usually more than good enough. And then we click submit. And it's going to ask you, are you sure this is going to cost 0.15 fast hours of GPU credits? That's perfectly fine. Well, depending on how much you have left, it should be perfectly fine. So we're going to click OK. And it's going to take a bit of time. In fact, it'll let you know. It'll take about 2 minutes. Now, for some reason, it's going to say, sorry, could not complete this job. Don't really know why. I could not tell you why this keeps happening, but eventually we will get a direct message to our Discord saying that the style tuner is ready, and then that will begin the next step. And so now the style tuner is ready, so you can now click this and it will take you to the style tuner, but you can also come back to Discord, and right here in the Midjourney bot with your direct messages, you'll be able to see the same link here. You can visit the site. It's the same thing. So what would happen is now you're going to be choosing one of them. So they're going to give you a few rows of these, and you're just going to choose what you like, right? So we can run through this really quickly. I like this more. I like this. I like this. Oh, I like this. Now, if you don't like either, you don't have to click either one. So I don't really like either of these. There's too much going on. I do like this. I do like this. I like this. I also like this, but you can only choose one of these. So I'll just choose this. I'll choose that. And remember, you do want to make it a little coherent. I like this. Midjourney will figure out what you want from all of these, but you still want to make it a little coherent. So now I've chosen all of them, and you can even see right here, answering only a few rows will result in a bold style. If you want something more nuanced and aligned with defaults, try skipping as few as possible. So again, choose what you want. You don't have to choose all of them. Choose what you want, and then they'll move from there. And now they have my style code, which is this. So guess what we're about to do? We're going to copy this. Okay, and we're going to come over back into Discord. Now, this is a 5.2 feature. It's not on V6. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to modify this prompt a little bit. We're going to paste this in: a 1980s car racing down New York City, contemporary art, -- style. This is great, but we're going to need to do also -- version 5.2, because if we don't do that, it's going to say, you see, unknown style for version 6. So we're going to try this again. Paste this in here, -- version 5.2. Okay? That's another way of choosing your versions instead of having to go into your settings and choose a whole other version for the universal settings of the Discord. You can literally just put -- version. We chose what we chose. And so now it's nicely blended into these 4 images. And remember, if you want something a little different, you can remix this and then add the aspect ratio to be maybe wide. Wow, would you look at that? It looks like the mock-up for an amazing racing video game or something. So we're looking really good. Now, it doesn't stop there. Because now what you can do, you can take this style code and use it for other ideas. How about a building blowing up in Miami with the same parameters? And you see it has a lot of that same feeling and art style right into this. Let's do something even more dull. A kid walking down the block. It doesn't really get more dull than that unless maybe I put a granddad walking down the block, who knows, or an old man walking down the block, or an old woman walking down the block, or an old woman with an old kid walking down the block, whatever. But look, you're going to see that it's just the same. It's really cool when you can just make your images have like a unique design, feel, and aesthetic that you can apply to just about anything. That's pretty awesome, because now we have a very superheroine, very video game-esque design. One of the bigger positives of this is that when you have a certain style code, you can now start pretty much creating a universe of things, because now we have a car, a city, a child, all in the same art style and colorway. That's really good stuff. Using Midjourney, you can now maybe create a show with consistent colors and aesthetics all around. Wowzers, wowzers. So now we have an old woman walking slowly in her house, and it don't look that slow, but it looks really awesome. So, and you can always refresh these if you'd like. So I'm going to click refresh, and then it lets me choose again so I could come up with a different style. And so now that I've chosen a new group, you'll see that I get a different style, and then we can use that as well. Now this new style doesn't get rid of the old style. I can still use the old style if I'd like. And so as you can see, the old style still exists, so you can actually still take time and save these styles. But I now have the old style and the new style. Another great version of the prompt. So remember to like and subscribe if this video was helpful to you. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.